fans of movies, and today we have options such as comedy, drama, thriller, action, and we relish the opportunity to get lost in a good story and forget our reality for a while. But back in the 1920s, a new genre of movies was born that was called the Western. These films devoted to telling stories set primarily in the latter half of the 19th century and often portrayed how desolate and hard life was for families, and was usually centered around the life of a cowboy, a gunfighter, and there was always a hero in white and the villain in black. And the hero was always rescuing the damsel in distress and saving the town. In 1930, a young man in his 20s named Marion Robert Morrison went to work for a prop department for the Fox Film Corporation after losing his football scholarship to USC after a body surfing accident. It was there he was offered his first starring role, The Big Trail. The director of the movie decided to give Marion a screen name. That screen name was John Wayne. John Wayne was born May 26, 1907 in Winterset, Iowa, and his family later moved to Glendale, California. And it was there that a local fireman at the station on his route to school in Glendale started calling him Little Duke, because he never went anywhere without his Airedale Terrier Duke. He referred Duke to Marion, and the name stuck for the rest of his life. The Big Trail ended up being a major flop. From 1930 to 1938, he appeared in many low-budget westerns. His breakthrough role was the classic Stagecoach, directed by John Ford, where he played a fugitive Ringo Kid. He and John Ford became lifelong friends, and John Ford was a commander in the U.S. Navy, and during World War II, Wayne was exempted from service due to his age, 34 at the time, and his injury from body surfing. But he repeatedly wrote John Ford asking to be placed in Ford's military unit, but was later threatened with a lawsuit from Republic Studios if he walked away from his contract. He then toured the U.S. bases and hospitals in the South Pacific in 1943 and 1944 and was a popular visitor to war zones in Korea and Vietnam. A book written by Randy Roberts and James Olson titled John Wayne, American, published in September 1997, states that his failure to serve in the military was the most painful experience of his life. And the book My Life with the Duke, written by his widow, Pilar Paulette Wayne, she is quoted as saying, quote, "He would become a super patriot for the rest of his life, trying to atone for staying home," end quote. From 1939 to 1976, he appeared in more than 40 movies, including McClintock with Maureen O'Hara, pictured here. He also starred in She Wore a Yellow Ribbon, The Shootist, and True Grit. He won an Academy Award for Best Actor in the 1969 film True Grit, where he stars as U.S. Marshal Rooster Cogburn, an eye-patched drunkard lawman, and he later reprised his role as Cogburn in the 1975 sequel Rooster Cogburn. He became friends with fellow actor Michael Caine early in Caine's Hollywood career, and they never made a movie together. The first time he met John Wayne, he offered some advice on acting. Talk low, talk slow, and don't say too much. John Wayne participated in politics and was a prominent conservative Republican. He also received several awards, such as the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Jimmy Carter, and was awarded the Naval Heritage Award by the U.S. Navy Memorial Foundation for his support of the U.S. Navy and military during his film career. During a hearing before the Subcommittee on Consumer Affairs in May 1979, in which John Wayne was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal by the U.S. Congress, his co-star McClintock, Maureen O'Hara, is quoted as saying, quote, "To the people of the world, John Wayne is not just an actor and a very fine actor. John Wayne is the United States of America. He is what they believe it to be. He is what they hope it to be, and he is what they hope it will always be. He believes in the adherence to the American dream." Maureen O'Hara also suggested that the medal should say one thing, John Wayne, American, and it does. In his final film, The Shootist, John Wayne's character, J.B. Brooks, foreshadowed the final days of John Wayne, who died of stomach cancer 3 years later on June 11, 1979. His grave remained unmarked for 20 years, but is now marked with a quotation from his controversial 1971 Playboy interview. Quote, "Tomorrow is the most important thing in my life. Comes to us at midnight very clean. It's perfect when it arrives and it puts itself in our hands. It hopes we've learned something from yesterday," unquote. In honor of his charitable work for the fight against cancer, Wayne's children established the John Wayne Cancer Foundation in 1985. The organization brings courage, strength, and grit to the fight against cancer. John Wayne was considered by most to be a star of westerns, and in most of his films, he played the character of a big, tough, good guy who took on bad guys head on and had a big heart for the ladies. He was the hero in his films.